I'm Rucksack Brian from hostelmanagement.com. I'm here today with Michelle McBryde, CEO of the new hostel booking portal, Hostel Rocket. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Just a quick question to kind of get us into a discussion here. You guys have come in fairly strong in the past few months, and you've really been making waves and stirring up a lot of commotion within the industry, getting a lot of interest. Why have you created Hostel Rocket? What is the reason behind needing to create this new portal?
Well, we believe that as hostel owners ourselves and as avid enthusiasts and programmers of technology, that there is a need for Hostel Rocket to come into the marketplace because there is a need to provide the hostel owners essentially a marketing platform where they can reach travelers from all over the world and not just using their social media or reliance on other OTAs.
Okay, and why now? Why is this coming up now that this need is so prevalent?
Well, I owned my second hostel a few years ago, and I ended up selling it to do Hostel Rocket because while I was running my hostel, I was just very frustrated with the options that I had out there to distribute my beds. And I was frustrated on a personal level traveling on the customer experience side of how I would book my beds. I noticed my customers were very frustrated when they would arrive depending on who they booked their beds through. And so I set out to build Hostel Rocket to solve those problems, to connect the industry as a whole, and to keep the prices down and not going up with the hotel industry, and keep it a hostel industry affordable for people to travel and community-based. When you arrive, you're very excited and happy, and you're not plagued with any type of complications you had with a booking engine or however you booked your bed.
Okay. And you mentioned something really interesting. You were a hostel owner.
Yeah.
So you're coming from within the industry.
Yeah, a couple times over.
Can you tell me a little bit about your background with the hostels?
Like where I owned the hostels? Or...
Yeah, I'm curious. What kind of hostel were you running? Where was it? How big was it?
Yeah, so my first one was a hostel up in Yosemite, California, and it was 25 beds, so it was a small hostel, which was lovely, and it was just a hostel. And then I sold that and opened up one down the street, but it was a compound. So there were, we had a total of, oh gosh, now I'm trying to think, 28 beds. So it was still small, but we had private rooms at that point, and we had, we were building out a laundromat. We didn't get there before we sold it. And then we also had a restaurant and a bar so that, people could play outside and enjoy their hammock experience and then come eat and party until the wee hours of the morning. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're very much from within the industry. How many years
Absolutely.
did you run those hostels?
6 total.
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years. Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and I've been traveling hostels since I was 14. My first one, and forgive me, I do not remember the name now, but it was in São Paulo, Brazil. When I was 14, my mom let me travel. Crazy lady, I don't know why, but I've had the bug ever since.
And what about the rest of your team? Who are they, and what's their connection with hostels?
So our marketing director is a former hostel owner as well. As you can tell, our marketing is outrageous. I mean, like you said, we're really in the forefront of everyone right now, and hopefully continue to be. And he understands a lot about what is on the traveler's mind, how they want to be talked to, and what interests them, coming from the industry, being an avid traveler, and owning hostels. And then we have a total of 12 people right now on our team. It's literally split up half between strategic planning, marketing, operations, and half between technology. Our technology guys actually just stayed in their first hostel a few months ago and loved it. But before then, they have just been working on new technology and building software companies and have been very successful with the companies that they've built. And they met me, and we built Hostel Rocket together.
Okay, so they're coming very much from the technical background.
Absolutely.
Your marketing guy has a solid marketing background as well, and all of you have hostel experience. I'm very curious with your technical guys. Did they choose to go stay in a hostel, or did you send them out and say you need to go experience this?
No, there was a closure, which is the type of technology that we use. There was a closure conference going on, and our CTO is very much involved in the closure community. And he said, it's in DC. I want to go check out DC High Hostel, and so we're all staying there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so with you guys all getting into the industry, you've sold off your hostel, you've created this new booking portal. Obviously, you're coming in with a vision of what you'd like the hostel industry to be, and the relationship between hostels and travelers and OTAs. What is your vision for that? What is your vision for the new relationship within the hostel industry?
I want to keep bed prices down. That's my vision.
Okay.
I don't want to. Our number one goal here is how do we accommodate the hostels and the travelers at the same time? Mm-hmm. And I think that it all aligns into price. And then how do we do that?
Okay. And currently, Hostel Rocket is available on the internet. It's available with iOS. It's available on Android. I mean, you guys have spread out just about everywhere. Can you describe the services that you guys are offering through all of those different platforms?
Yeah, so you can, for the travelers facing side, it's an awesome experience where you can do rate comparison, read reviews, look at prices. We have something a little different where we, give the hostel certificate. So maybe you're a surf hostel or an eco hostel or a family-friendly hostel, or some of them have multiple certificates, and so the travelers can search by the type of hostel that they're looking for, a party hostel or whatever. And we also provide on the details page of the hostel listing for the traveler a deeper way to connect with the hostel owners, because we display their social media on their details page. So it allows the hostels to engage with our audience essentially for free and start building out their marketing efforts, and allows our travelers to really experience how social that hostel is if the hostel is actually leveraging their social media. And then we do some mapping functions where the hostel operators can put in points of interest surrounding their hostel that you just can't find on Yelp or by Googling. Maybe it's a really awesome bar that provides appetizers if you say you're from that hostel, or a underpopulated entrance to a waterfall. So yeah.
That's great. And all of that is provided by the hostels.
Yeah, all that content's provided by the hostels. We also did, we found in the industry that a lot of the websites, the information that is on the sites about the hostels is a lot to dig through, and these millennials just don't read anymore. And so one of the biggest advantages to Hostel Rocket is that we provide, quality hostels, so you can't onboard with us. It's a manual review process. We look at all of your pictures, all of your videos, all of your mapping. We consolidate your text, so we only allow you to put in a certain amount of words per category, description, things about your food, your amenities, and so on. So we really curate that data and display it to the travelers in a consumable amount to help them get to that conversion quicker and book your bed.
Okay, and by setting those limits, it's not so that hostels don't list everything that's there or limit them in some way. It's just simply because millennials are not likely to read it otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And quite honestly, you're about to book a bed, and the last thing you want to do is have a hostel owner tell you, yelling at you in all caps, like, do not disturb anyone after 10 p.m. on the description. And unfortunately, it happens a lot, because I don't know if owners just feel that they have to put it out there or they're not educated. And instead of going to them and trying to educate them, we just manually do it ourselves.
Okay, to make sure that it's a friendly experience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would imagine those same messages could be conveyed in lower caps at least.
And they're in your policies as well. You have to sign off on the policies, and we also do a really nice job at making sure the policies are readable and not yelling at you, but accurate portrait of what you're going to get.
Okay, and it's really interesting that you're going to have different categories. Who is going to choose those categories? Will it be the hostel deciding if they are a party hostel, a kitchen community, eco hostel, surf hostel?
Yeah, so they decide, and they decide what type of hostel they are when they are listing with us. Mm-hmm. And then when we're manually onboarding them and translating them, we decide actually what type of hostel they really are. So if they're not really a surf hostel, they're 10 miles up the road from the beach and have no surfboards, then we obviously would not classify them as that. So there's a review process and an authorization process that we believe travelers will really enjoy and be able to trust Hostel Rocket as the go-to place.
Okay, that's great. For the inventory that you have, where is that coming from? Is that also coming straight from the hostels themselves, or are you pulling that from other sources?
When you mean it, yeah, well, so the hostels have to, put in their bed descriptions and their pictures and their pricing and all of that, but we work with channel managers to provide us the inventory.
Okay, so you are working with channel managers.
Yeah, and we are not a, Hostel Rocket is not another channel manager that they have to figure out. We work with channel managers. My allocator is one of them. We really like what my allocator is doing. We feel like they have really brought channel management into technology and into design and user experience. We do not have a partnership with them. They didn't pay me to say this, but those are the type of channels that we're looking to partner with, and not old school ones that make our job more difficult. So, and for the hostels that are not on a channel manager, or we do not integrate with them, we have a workaround for that as well.
Okay, so if somebody's not working with a channel manager, that doesn't exclude them from working with working with Hostel Rocket?
Not at all.
Okay, wonderful. And you mentioned that there are going to be reviews. Are those coming from the guests who are directly booking, or are you aggregating reviews from other places?
We aggregate from TripAdvisor.
From TripAdvisor.
Yep.
Okay.
We firmly believe, we don't want to reinvent the wheel here, and the last thing that we want to do at Hostel Rocket is provide more work for these busy hostel owners. And so TripAdvisor does a really good job with reviews, and they have a lot of them, and they don't go away once they're on there. And so by displaying just those reviews, the hostels can focus on one central place to manage their reviews that get fed up into the relevant OTAs that they want to use.
Okay. Do you have any plans or any interest or consideration of creating your own review system, or are you happy using TripAdvisor? Okay, so that's a potential.
And when we do, it will be outside of what anyone's used to, and very hostel orientated.
Okay. Well, it's hard to start up from the very beginning, especially using reviews, so it's great to come in from TripAdvisor. Yeah,
well, not only that, I don't like the way that the OTAs do reviews right now, and like I said, people are reading less and less, and content gets old, and the way you absorb content gets old, and quite frankly, the way reviews are done is old, and we don't have enough data yet to know what the right move is, but there is one.
Okay, so it's a matter now of collecting the information and doing some of your own analysis to come up with the next brilliant step in the review process.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Reviews are just one of the hard parts of getting in. Breaking into the hostel distribution market or the hostel booking market is incredibly difficult because you need to have the hostels on board in order to get the travelers to book through you, and you need to have the travelers there in order to get the hostels interested, and so it becomes this vicious cycle. How do you plan on approaching both of these ways to get your foot in the door and try to recruit from both sides?
So I think that we do an exceptional job at marketing. We have a huge following. We're building a brand. We're building a brand that travelers can relate to, that they're excited about using, and that they feel a part of the family. And that's what we do differently. We don't just go out there and buy our customers. Well, that's great. We don't have $500 million at our disposal to go out there and compete in PPC. And quite honestly, we want to build a Red Bull. We want to build a brand that is associated with cool things, and with Red Bull, with sports, and with us, it's travel, and it's community and social travel. So, and as far as the hostels are concerned, our product and our user experience is easy, it's simple, and right now it's free. So you can book as much as you want on Hostel Rocket. We don't charge you anything. So, I mean, I would say get in early now. We're going to figure out, we're a business. We don't want to be just a leisure business either. We want to build a sustainable business here, and we're going to figure out the best way to monetize Hostel Rocket for the hostel operators, for the travelers, that everyone gets a return on their investment. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be based on commissions.
Okay. Okay, that's a very generous way to approach it, and a very large goal to try to undertake here. That's fantastic. And you mentioned that you're trying to recruit really, really heavily through marketing and through social media. You guys have been incredibly successful so far from what I've seen. If I'm not mistaken, you began your social media campaign getting your name out there in July of 2014, is that right?
In actually August of 2012, we started campaigning for Hostel Rocket. So
so it's been
before we even had a product roadmap.
Okay, I know at this point you guys are up to nearly is it 22,000, 23,000 Facebook likes, which is pretty impressive, and 102,000 followers on Twitter. So clearly, you guys are getting out there. You're getting the word out through the social media channels. You are having a positive effect to reach to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and right now we actually have an Are You Next campaign going on where our travelers are, and it's at RUNext _ on Twitter, or r.u.next on Instagram. So hostel owners, if you're watching, you can follow this. It's quite interesting. Maybe they're going to come to your hostel and stay, but we have travelers that sign up and they take what we call the baton. They take the Are You Next Instagram and Twitter account over, and they share up to 72 hours of their travel experience in live time. And then we retweet it, and so they're talking about the hostels they're at, the monuments they're going to see, the rivers they're flowing down, and it's just, we started it a couple weeks ago, and it's just, our list is, I think we're out to like August now with people taking it over every 72 hours, so it's been pretty amazing.
That's great. Yeah. It's creative, it's fun, and it reaches a lot of people.
Community, right? Social community. Yeah.
It's what hostels are all about, the whole industry.
Yeah. Yep.
So as you reach out to everyone, you're reaching out to the hostels, you're reaching out to the travelers, trying to bring everybody in here to check out Hostel Rocket. Yeah. Once they get there, what sets Hostel Rocket aside from other options that are out there, from other OTAs or other booking sites? What are you guys doing that is so different?
So if you can think of Hostel Rocket as your go-to place to market your property. So, high-res images, opportunity to display videos, opportunity to have great content that's easily consumable, awesome mapping functionality, connection with your travelers for here's the places to go. We display your website link, your phone number, your email address if you want it, so the travelers can just connect with you directly. Book direct, right? Book direct. And we provide all of your social media feeds, your event feeds, your blog posts if you want them. So we make your web presence available to all of our travelers worldwide, and we take some of that burden away from you. And essentially we become your second or possibly first website, so that you don't have to figure out how to create this beautiful experience for the travelers and then go out there and reach millions of travelers at a time. We do that for you.
Okay. That's a whole lot of really appealing features you've got here. Just a couple that really stand out are ones that, especially through the Hostel Management Forum and through other industry events that we've held, really are a lot of the things that are touchy for hostels. You've mentioned that you're not going to have commissions, that you're going to promote direct bookings, which is something really big in the industry. I understand that you're also only going to list hostels. Is that correct?
Only hostels. And I know everyone's saying, yeah, right, eventually you're going to need to fill the gap in the inventory. No, that's not Hostel Rocket's brand. That's not what we're getting into. We manually, after the hostel lists with us, we review just to make sure that their listing is awesome for our website. We're quality. We're not a Walmart for hostels. We're a Saks Fifth Avenue for hostels. So in the traveler's mind, when they're coming to book a hostel, they know they want to stay at a hostel. They come to Hostel Rocket to see what are the best hostels that I can find in this area and look at everything as a whole to make that decision instead of filtering out through all of this stuff. For a hostel owner, they're not competing, and putting faith into an OTA that is putting a hotel in front of their hostel or a bed and breakfast in front of their hostel or giving the customer a really horrible user experience that's not what they're going to get when they arrive at the hostel. And that is what sets us apart.
Okay. And you already have a lot of hostels that are already signed up, a lot of properties that are in there.
We do.
You do. Out of curiosity, if you are only listing hostels, what are your criteria to be considered as a hostel?
You have to be a hostel.
That's a good start. That's good.
You don't have to just sell bunk beds or private rooms, but you have to have a community kitchen of some sort or some type of community area. You cannot be marketing yourself as a hotel or a bed and breakfast anywhere online, and we do look. You need to have pictures and things that we can see, that other travelers can see, that is, pictures of travelers staying in your hostel, eating together, drinking beer together, hanging out, maybe in the pool, whatever, outside in the social area. So in order for us to qualify you as a hostel, it's all about community and being social. And if you can show us that that's what you do, we'll be happy to put you on Hostel Rocket.
Okay. And that's even if a hostel doesn't necessarily have shared dormitories where someone can come in and book just a single bed, as long as they have that community, you would still consider them as a hostel.
Yeah, there's lots of hostels that do not have, the dormitory rooms. So.
Okay. Okay. And you had discussed your pricing before. Having only hostels admittedly does limit how much income you can come in. If you did sell hotels, obviously they have larger commissions because the prices tend to be higher. So if you're cutting that part out, that leaves you having to be very creative in order to come up with this. You guys started off with a really interesting pricing strategy where you said if somebody would pay, let's say, a flat bed rate, flat fee per month, $1 per bed, $2 per bed, $3 per bed, that could reduce your commission. You've since abandoned this, and in place of paying instead of paying a monthly fee, you're giving it for free. How does that work?
Yeah. So we actually had a lot of hostels on board and reduce their commissions. And we had a lot of hostels on board, and they were going to try out the commission, but then they would probably go to the fixed rate if we could, bring them enough value. And through all of this, and a lot of that was trial. We were actually, as a company, split testing things to see where we land. That's what any, smart company does. And that's why you're seeing things change. And why we went to the free model is that through all of that, we've decided that we don't really know yet what we can do to be the best for the hostels yet. So get them onboarded, start serving them, give them a really great experience, and then monetize it where it works for both parties. And if you get outside of the commission model, there's a lot of opportunity as a marketing platform for these hostels to be a sustainable company and provide a service that's not being provided yet.
Okay, so if I sign up my hostel, I'm not going to pay a thing.
No.
For the bookings that come through, they are free.
Yep.
I don't have any registration, anything.
No.
That sounds, quite honestly, that sounds too good to be true. How do you cover your costs with this? Are you simply hemorrhaging money for now, carrying the cost of this on your own?
We believe in the product, and everyone at our team believes in the product, and so we get paid a really crappy salary, and our investors believe in the product, and so we're doing things now that are setting us up to be successful later. And with that comes we have to cover the costs right now. We have to prove that Hostel Rocket is worth being on and that we can provide value to the hostels. And we think that we're sending a strong message by saying it takes you 12 minutes to onboard your property. It's free. You can't lose. You're not losing out.
With the hostel management community, many of us out there, myself included, tend to be small hostel owners, owner-operators that really run the place with passion and with heart. It sounds like Hostel Rocket is approaching from the same perspective that many of us would approach our hostels, where it's not necessarily about the money coming in, but you cover the costs, you love what you do, and in the end you try to produce the very best product you possibly can for the travelers.
Absolutely. Well, and for the hostel owners as well.
Okay. With this pricing strategy, you've said that in the future you're going to try to come up with something in order to monetize it that's beneficial both for you guys and for the hostels. Do you have any idea how far down the line you're looking at? How long can we reasonably expect to basically take from you for free?
You're not taking from us. You're providing us an opportunity to help you and to help us understand how we can help you more and help us create a sustainable business. So it's kind of it's a win-win for both parties, we believe. As far as when and how long it's going to be free, I don't know that answer yet. I can tell you have a good 90 days to really give us a try.
Okay, so 90 days to get yourself signed up, take all the free bookings you can, and prove to yourself whether this works or doesn't work for any particular hostel.
Exactly.
Okay, so call it a free trial period at least.
Yeah, and we're going to be working very closely, having very close relationships with our hostels that are onboarded in keeping an open line of communication about analytics, what's going on, what can we help you with, and what are you willing to pay. And so this is going to be a very open discussion in the community about, Hostel Rocket as a whole. And we're hoping that, we can, as crazy as this sounds, kind of not a co-op, but that we can build this thing together. Because it's not just us that has an idea without your guys' input that are in the hostels day in and day out, that are looking at your budget, that are seeing what you're losing or gaining from, other ways to sell your inventory. And you guys have really good ideas, and you know what you can afford, and we want to get that from you. And we want to create that for you.
Okay, so the future of the pricing strategy. The future of the pricing strategy then has not been determined and will be determined with cooperation from the industry, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It's a very interesting strategy to go into, but I love that at least everyone gets a chance to test it out and see, does this work?
What's outside of the box, right? Like, I think most people can set pricing and do this, and it's outside of the box, but in order to make change happen in this industry, you have to be outside of the box, and you have to work together. And we have to, we have to work towards the goal of booking direct, and we have to.
Okay. Now, you guys are not completely funding this on your own. You have gotten some outside funding. In fact, gone through 2 rounds of funding. You've got an American venture capital company that has put some money in. What exactly is that investment capital earmarked for? What is that going to be spent on?
So we spend it on running our company, so salaries, but essentially it's, we're split up pretty much operations, marketing, and product development. So that's what the money is spent on. Okay.
And are those guys, are they comfortable with your model of testing it out, testing the waters, and then coming up with a out-of-the-box pricing? They're okay with that.
They're going to watch this video, right?
I'm sure that they will. And that's that is one of the questions that a lot of people have when they see this. I love the philosophy.
Yeah.
But in the end, how do you reach your goals, and how can you, especially with a venture capital company coming in, how can you reach their profit goals and find a balance that works for everybody in there?
We know that we have, we know that we have something here, and we know that we will get to monetization, and we know that we are. We have to onboard hostels, and we have to get them to trust us, and we have to build something that is of value in the industry, and they're behind that, and they understand that, and so that's why they put their money in. They believe that this industry needs a new age OTA, and that the Hostel Rocket team can provide that, and that when we're ready to monetize it, we're gonna do it so that we don't have hostels dropping off, that it's fair for everyone and sustainable for us. And because we didn't take Series A and B investments this early, we have a lot of flexibility into when we can start to monetize and how we start to monetize it. So we're lucky and strategic in that.
We'll move on with something else that you guys are doing. You've said that you want to make a big push for direct bookings. That's something that's a real hot topic in the industry. And as a booking portal, that seems like a very unusual move for an OTA to make. Why is it that you're choosing this strategy to move ahead, even though it seems rather radical for an OTA?
Like I said, at the end of the day, Hostel Rocket wants to be a better way for you to market your product, your hostel, and through that we provide a quality product such as your social media feeds, aggregation of all of your marketing efforts online into one nice little package, and in the hands of travelers that are coming to Hostel Rocket for the OTA experience, rate comparison, prices, look at pictures, reviews, so on and so forth. So we've really positioned ourselves to be a marketing engine for the hostels, and with that will come, booking direct. And other than that, I'm not going to get into the rest of it. But if you onboard with Hostel Rocket, you'll know what's going
on. And we're discussing the promotion of direct bookings. How exactly are you going to go about pushing the bookings to the hostel's website? I know you had mentioned listing phone numbers and emails, websites. Are there other methods that you're doing or other ways that you're going about promoting this to encourage people to do so?
Yeah, we have a lot of messaging coming out. The transfer between when you decide on the place you're going to go to when you get to the listing page. There's a message there about supporting the industry and different ways that we do it in Booking Direct. Part of this is education, right? So, like I said, the travelers are never going to not want to use an OTA, and the hostels are always going to want to book direct. And and a lot of the hostels' websites, quite frankly, are very hard to book direct on. And so there's a succinct thing that has to happen in the industry where Hostel Rocket is a perfect blend of both of those: OTA for the traveler and a resource for the hostel to have a nice website that they can book direct on. And how we're going to do that is in a number of ways. We can offshoot them to the hostel's website. If they're set up with, say, My Allocator, for instance, then they can choose a Booking Direct option, which is the same thing. Traveler doesn't experience anything different, but it's the same thing as them using My Allocator's booking widget on their website. It works the same way. So they don't have to allocate us a certain amount of inventory or anything like that. So and that's how we're going to support the Booking Direct and educate the travelers, but still make the experience seamless for them.
Which is really a fantastic thing to be doing for the industry, for hostels, for the travelers, for everyone. That's something that I think a lot of hostels can really get behind.
I hope they do. I hope we continue to list more hostels, and we can work together on this.
And have you set up a way to track the bookings that end up going from your site directly booking with the hostels?
We do.
Know which you do have a system. Wonderful.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, that's one of the biggest questions is that we go back to is this going to be a good outlet and a good return on my investment as a hostel owner, right? And with that comes analytics.
Okay. Yeah, analytics, very, very important to know exactly what's really happening.
And also, too, I mean, you have to remember, we're really positioning ourselves as a marketing engine for these hostels to help support all of the different methods of driving traffic to a Booking Direct, whether it's a phone call or an engagement on social media or came through Hostel Rocket directly or went to your website and booked. And so there's analytics behind, how many people are engaging with you through your social marketing efforts through Hostel Rocket. So we're more than just... You can't really look at Hostel Rocket and say I got, 20 bookings from them this month, so that means that I made, a great return on my investment. You have to look at it in a lot of different things. My engagement on my social media went up 60% since I've been on Hostel Rocket. I've been getting more phone calls. I've been getting more emails. People have been engaging with my pictures more. So, we're really, if you can think of us as your really pretty face of an OTA, but really your marketing back engine, I think you will understand Hostel Rocket and get your head out from how the other OTAs do it, because we're completely different.
It sounds like it's a completely different organization, different setup, and different approach,
yeah.
Which is great, something fresh and new.
Yeah, and I think that I think that the other OTAs, they have to exist. So, but we can coexist with them and provide a great product.
Well, especially if you're approaching from such a different angle, then
right.
That does kind of clear the ground to have different things out there. If you can differentiate yourself from them, then that opens up room for multiple different types to exist.
Right.
Okay. There are concerns within the industry. Anytime any of the new OTAs have tried to start up in the past, a lot of the same concerns have come up, a lot of the same fears have come up, specifically being, what happens once you do become successful? Let's say, in the beginning, everyone starts out with the greatest of intentions, and then at some point, you get a lock on it, you get a foothold, and you really do have strength in the industry. The biggest fears are that, well, one of two outcomes comes out of this. The first one being that you establish a dominant position where then you can kind of take control over the hostels, and the other one being that you establish something that's a really great product and everybody loves it, and then it gets sold off to another company, a competitor, an investor, something which may be great for the site, for the management, but it leaves the hostel kind of wondering what's going to happen in the future. the reason these are such big concerns is because we've seen such things happen in the not so distant past. So
Yeah.
how would you approach how would you respond to these kind of concerns from the industry?
I don't know the future. I don't know. I don't know what mergers can happen. I don't know what acquisitions can happen if there is one. I don't know, if we can be the dominant player in the hostel only space. I don't know the future. I don't know how we're going to react to it. And all I know is that we're building a great product that cannot be easily merged into another OTA's product, right? So yeah, we're just advocates of making change and helping facilitate hostels to have a better face in the digital age and allow more travelers to reach them and keep the pricing down.
Okay.
So I don't, yeah, I mean, I really don't, I would like to sit here and say, oh, no, we'll never sell her. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm an honest person. I mean, we want to be sustainable. We want to grow this, and we're business people as well. And at the end of the day, we want to make money just like you want to make money on your hostel. So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Which is an honest answer, and I appreciate it. I can appreciate coming at us straight and saying this is it. We don't know the future. Excellent. And you guys have put a real push with working with the industry, whether it's developing how you're going to do the pricing, how you're going to approach the social media and these other things. It's very much a collaborative effort. Mm-hmm. And you guys, I'm sure, on the forum we have lots of different discussions, questions, concerns coming up all the time regarding OTAs. I'm sure that you have them directly from the hostels. Are there any particular questions or concerns that you've heard that you would like to take this chance to address kind of on a more open level for all the hostels out there, just to kind of clear the ground?
I haven't ran into concerns yet. Everyone that has reached out to us, and it's not really, oddly enough, I mean, we have a great product, we have a great vision, has been honestly very supportive of, how do I help spread the word? How do I champion Hostel Rocket? How do I make my listing awesome? The only thing that I, would say to hostel operators is the movement towards booking direct is here. And if you want to be on that party train, then you need to get on Hostel Rocket, and we all need to champion together. And, everyone has been talking in the industry forever about, how do we get out from underneath, being reliant on these expensive other booking platforms, and they can just raise the rates whenever they want, and it's not a shift that happens overnight. It's not a poster that you put in your hostel. It's not talking on a forum about what ifs. It's taking action. Hostel Rocket's taking that action, and the way that you support it is you list your hostel on Hostel Rocket, and you add your social media, and you make your listing awesome. And that's all I would say. I mean,
in fact, that was going to be my last question for you is okay, in order to move this ahead, what is it that you need from the hostels, from the industry, in order for Hostel Rocket to really take off, to be successful, and to make something that is really, truly beneficial for everyone involved?
Put your hostel on Hostel Rocket. You can go to operators.hostelrocket.com, and you can read about us and list your hostel on there, and make your listing awesome. And give us as many pictures as you can, and then make sure that if you don't already have social media, go out and open Instagram accounts and Twitter accounts and start putting some content once or twice or 3 times a day on there. That's really going to help your listing get as much as it can from Hostel Rocket and your brand as a hostel. I mean, exposure, right? We can provide you, we do a great job exposing you into the digital age. So if you give us some stuff to expose, we'll help you.
Regarding the social media, is there anything in particular that you would recommend that hostels do out there for engaging with the community, with their guests, with anything else, to make sure that it's really good?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you join with Hostel Rocket, every week we actually send you, starting next week, we actually send you tips on how to market your property. So there'll be a bunch of social media tips and tricks that we have for you. But it's really just, people don't read anymore. And people don't want to be sold to. So send them pictures of real-time things and videos, what someone cooked, or what you're doing tomorrow, or the accents that you're hearing around your hostel today. Like that's, and people want to see that on Instagram visually. and they want to, see 160 characters or less on tweets, and hashtag adventure, wanderlust, hostels, things that are relevant to reach a wider audience of travelers and get them engaging with your hostel. And you would really be surprised how many travelers, if you put stuff up around your hostel, will actually follow you on Instagram and on your Twitter and your Facebook if you have interesting content on there and they look you up and you put that stuff around there. So I would just say it's a slow, it can be fast, but it's a slow progression of coming up with a plan. I'm going to take X amount of pictures a week, or I'm going to talk about these kinds of things, getting people to engage with your content, and then just keep that momentum going. And it's fun. I mean, if you're out to dinner, snap a picture of it. People like that.
Simply convey what does the atmosphere really feel like in the hostel and put that out there on social media.
Absolutely. And Instagram, Instagram and Twitter, if you're going to pick one or two, I would definitely go down that road.
Okay, Instagram and Twitter.
Yep.
Wonderful. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us today. This is Michelle McBryde from Hostel Rocket, and I am Rucksack Brian from Hostel Management. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later in the forum.
Thank you.